Let me ask you something. What if the very thing you're trying to escape is the exact thing designed to evolve you? Have you thought of that? What if the anxiety before the conversation, the resistance before the gym, the discomfort before the decision isn't a warning sign? What if it's just a compass? Welcome to the Mindset Channel, where ancient wisdom meets the modern mindset. Now, today, we're talking about something most people misunderstand: pain. Not trauma, not tragedy, discomfort. That stretch, the awkwardness, that friction between who you are and who you could become.
Yeah, that's right, mate. There's this I'm noticing it. I see with my nieces and nephews and a lot of Gen Zs actually. There is a silent epidemic in the modern world, and it's not even war or yeah, it's not a pandemic or anything like that.
Thank God for that.
Thank God for it. Yeah. And the epidemic is actually comfort. Yeah. It's great. I want my family to be comfortable. I want my family to be secured, right? A civilization so skilled at avoiding discomfort that it has forgotten, well, I'm sorry to say this, how to grow.
And at the really base level, right? This is something I
Mm.
speak about with clients a lot, right? When I'm talking about the function of the amygdala.
Yeah.
The amygdala is designed to sense threats,
Mm.
all right, and respond to threats. But the amygdala is an ancient part of our brain. Um, Really great if you're being chased by a bear or a saber-toothed tiger or something, but that doesn't happen these days. And
Mm.
so, because life's reasonably on the level, reasonably calm these days, the amygdala is often looking for, it's scanning for ways to use itself. We've engineered life to remove friction. We've got food delivered, entertainment on demand, swipe left on rejection. You had to get rejected face to face in my day. Quit the job when it gets hard.
Mm.
Avoid the conversation when it gets tense. And slowly, without noticing, we become weaker. Not physically at all,
Mm.
but psychologically, we're compromised. We're getting weaker.
That's it. I think it was the king. I think I'm not sure if it is the emir or one of the or the king of Saudi Arabia, right? And there's a famous story that he said when he was young, his father um, rode a camel. Yeah. Oh, sorry. His grandfather rode a camel. His father rode a Mercedes Benz.
Right, right.
Yeah. He rode a limousine, and his son rode a Lamborghini. His great grandchildren will ride a camel again
Oh, wow.
because that's the generation. From that struggle, that discomfort, you want to rise up, and then whoever rises up passes the technology and the way to their son, and their son really thrives because they still saw their parents, um, really not struggle but get out of struggle. And
Right.
that's why immigrant children, not the immigrants themselves, some immigrants do, but immigrant children are the most highly probable people in Australia that will succeed, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, because they saw their mom and dad go, oh man, we have, their dad is a cleaner, can't speak English, limited friends, but they learned that, and they learned the system, and they pass it to their sons, and they become this, and then the great grandson or the grandson now is comfortable will stop buying shit that he didn't earn, right? And then that system falls apart. And then
Yeah,
the great great grand.
you wonder if that's the reason. Sorry to butt in, mate. You wonder if that's the
Sorry.
reason why there's that in areas where people are not successful,
Mm.
there's that big pushback against immigration.
Yeah, right.
You wonder if that's a bit to do with it. Just like, sorry, mate, they're actually trying harder.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and that's the case. You gotta have that gusto, that desire, right, to do it. Um, I, hey, the sword does not sharpen itself in silk, hey? Yeah, it requires stone, right? And the stone feels very, very harsh.
It's a really good way to put it. It's a really good way to put it. All
Mm.
right. So today we're going to go deep. We're going to show you why discomfort is neurologically necessary for growth, why avoiding it is rewiring you for fragility, and practical strategies to train yourself to step into discomfort deliberately. And it's a super important thing to learn how to do. So by the end of this episode, our hope is you'll never experience discomfort the same way again.
Mm.
And if you stay with us, you'll begin to recognize pain as direction. So let's start with something practical, very unlike me. Your brain is designed for survival, not success. And we've spoken about this before.
Yeah.
This is where people, when they get a better option, they still stay in a situation that's not actually suiting them because their brain is designed for survival, and consistency gels with survival. So when you feel discomfort, your nervous system flags it as potential danger. Public speaking, threat. Rejection, threat. Uncertainty, threat. The amygdala activates, cortisol rises, you feel tension. So what do? You retreat. And every time you retreat, you teach your brain, good, let's avoid that again. Avoidance becomes reinforcement.
And pretty much programming if you keep on doing that, hey.
Yeah.
Mm. And that's this beautiful, comfortable prison is built. Yeah. Yeah, the walls are there because it's limited. And it's really built by habits. The more a man avoids discomfort, the narrower his world becomes. Thus, the prison is built. Okay, it could be a very comfortable prison, but it's built, and it's built not because of walls, right? It's built from habits. The more a person avoids discomfort, the narrower his world becomes. Until one day, he mistakes safety for strength. Have you seen those videos about Americans complaining about their holidays? Have you seen those videos?
No, I haven't.
So one of their biggest complaints is that the beach is too sandy.
What, the water's too wet?
Yeah. Okay. Because they have this image of their comfort, their thermostat, their clean things. And then they have this postcard of a beautiful beach. And then they go to the beach and it's sand and there's water and there's flies and it's hot. And they were complaining. No one warned them that the beach will be full of sand. I mean,
wow.
Can you believe that? Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you because from that comfort of that thermostat controlled environment to a very safe beach, yeah, it's still a problem for them.
Here's the critical point.
Yeah.
Avoidance doesn't reduce fear, it increases sensitivity. The less you expose yourself to discomfort, the more fragile you become. Like muscles that atrophy without resistance. And here's something I often say with regards to avoidance to my clients. All right. I explain it this way. After I've ascertained someone is avoidant, avoidant conversations or people or whatever, I explain it to them like this. Avoidance is part of a cycle. So you get essentially discomfort with a situation that leads to avoidance of the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And avoidance absolutely feeds anxiety about a situation because you start what ifing instead of dealing with your what if, which creates more avoidance, which more discomfort, which creates more avoidance, which feeds more anxiety, which creates more discomfort, which creates more avoidance, which creates more anxiety. And around this horrible merry-go-round, you end up going.
Wow. So what kind of life would that be if they just avoid it?
It's pretty ordinary, but the whole idea is the circuit breaker is in the middle there. You've got
Mm,
discomfort, anxiety, and
mm.
avoidance is the circuit breaker.
Yeah, right.
Pull out the avoidance.
Yeah. And in ancient philosophy, pain was never seen as the enemy, right? The Stoics, trained in voluntary hardship, right? Cold exposure, fasting, silence, not to suffer, but to remember their strength. And pain was a teacher. And I just want to say this, and I'm going to trigger some Buddhist people here. Yeah, whoever's listening here that is a Buddhist. So one of the things I love Buddhism. I love the way they respect a lot of environments and their meditative states. I love it. It's really necessary. I do disagree that their pathway to end suffering is not to desire. Yeah. So I'm going,
Right?
yeah. So the teachings of Buddha is there's always suffering if you desire something, if you want something. So if you don't desire it and you don't want it, you don't suffer. So to me, it's like, okay, as a Western human being that has a job that works, that's almost impossible for me because I do desire money so I can feed my family and be comfortable. Yeah, there you go, comfortable. And I cannot not desire.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't have the time to meditate 24/7 to remove my desires. Right.
Sure.
And that's the opposite of what the Stoics did. They did their own meditative practices. They did the fasting. They did the silence, but they didn't remove the desire. They met it, and they became more resilient about it to the point they could control the suffering that is brought on by the desire. Right. So pain became a real teacher for them.
Yeah, it did. Look, discomfort shows where your growth edges, where your identity is limited, where your ego feels threatened.
Mm.
And pain is not random. It highlights the exact place you need to develop. Avoid it and you stay exactly the same.
Yeah.
Lean into it and you'll expand.
Yeah. I mean, there's reason we avoid things. For example, imminent danger, like a truck coming towards you. Of course, you're gonna move aside. You're gonna avoid that truck, right? That's where it's for, and that is imminent danger. Getting hit by a truck is not uncomfortable. You're just dead. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, but that's imminent danger. That's where you use avoidance. You need to avoid that, right?
Yeah, that's
But
a different thing than
that's
standard.
different. Yeah, correct. So I already can foresee people going to the extreme side of why avoidance is necessary. But yes, avoiding imminent danger where your life is in trouble or in danger, Of course, you need to avoid those situations. When you're going into a room full of, I don't know, diseased people that you might catch the same thing, of course, you're going to avoid that situation, right? But, you know, when something is uncomfortable, such as a conversation, and you're going to avoid that, that's going to turn into something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, and here's the truth that people don't want to hear. Okay. The life you want exists on the other side of repeated discomfort.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things I'd like to say again. The life you want exists on the other side of repeated discomfort. The confidence you admire, earned through embarrassment. The body you respect, built through strain. The relationship you desire, forged through difficult conversations. Comfort is not neutral. It's actually quite expensive.
Literally.
It costs you your potential.
Correct. And the most comfortable hotels are the most expensive one as well. It's literally, comfort is expensive.
Exactly right.
Yeah. It's not neutral. Yeah, you're right. And every avoided discomfort, I think, is like a vote for a smaller version of you, right? So every embraced discomfort, it's almost like a declaration of evolution. The question is not, is this uncomfortable, right? The question is, who will I become if I walk through this?
Exactly. So, look, now we integrate. Here are practical ways to train discomfort like it's a skill. So start small. And I'm not kidding about this. Cold shower for 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. It's 30 seconds out of a 24-hour day. Speak up once in a meeting. Make eye contact a bit longer than usual. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Train your nervous system to realize, I can handle this. Discomfort tolerance builds like a muscle. A strategy 2, I call it the 90-second rule. When discomfort hits, don't react. Stay with it for 90 seconds. Observe the sensations. Your nervous system spike naturally declines if you don't fuel it with catastrophic thinking.
Hey, Jono, what's catastrophic thinking?
We tend to catastrophize things. You know, something slightly goes wrong for someone. And someone essentially thinks, okay, well, this went wrong. That's going to lead to this going wrong, which will lead to this going wrong, which will lead to this going wrong. And by the time you get to the third or fourth step, life's falling apart. All right?
That's when, I remember when I was working for Lego, I got a phone call from a very angry parent because one of the Lego piece in bricks that they got is apparently missing. Firstly, it wasn't. They just did. The kid threw it on the table and it fell somewhere, right? They found it later. But that parent accused me that Lego and me, the person, right? I was the downfall of the 7th birthday party.
How could you do that?
Okay, you're like, whoa, that escalated.
I don't know if I can do this podcast with you anymore. Like, that's just terrible.
It was the downfall of that that poor kid. And that's the thing, hey. Catastrophic thinking. I think is that what you were referring to? That kind of.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of that is catastrophizing something, absolutely. But yeah, so look, avoiding, staying away from that catastrophic thinking, that builds emotional resilience.
Yeah. Okay. How about this one? The third strategy that we have is you literally and willingly schedule hard things, right? The warrior. So I've done martial arts most of my life. The warrior does not wait for a battle. Yeah. The warrior trains before the battle. There's a saying, yeah. There's a saying in martial arts, especially the Japanese martial arts, where I trained, is you want to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in the middle of battle.
Yeah, yeah, I love it, love it.
Yeah. So that's why you train yourself before it happens, right? So you schedule difficult tasks early in the day. The hard conversations, for example, the workout. Yeah. Um, as a business owner and previous managers and directors of various companies, I usually do the firing in the morning. I know it's a tough one, but I do it in the morning. I don't extend it until the end of the day. Yeah, I do it in the morning, right? Um, because that's going to be a very tough conversation. And so
Right.
they have a full day to think about it. And I also give them another day, like the next day, to just, think what's their next move and come back the next day. Yeah, the
Right.
day after. Yeah. So so I schedule that during the day. Hard conversations in the morning, right? Your workout, the deep work, especially the really deep cognitive work as well for those office workers here. And have you seen those triathlons, bro?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So the swimming happens first. Yeah. The reason for that one is, but if you put swimming third, and they're all buggered up and tired, they're bloody drown.
Who am I drown? That's not that they just what they can dry off for the next 2 weeks.
You know? So yeah, that's why the swimming is first. Yeah, not because it's the hardest, but if you left that part last, there's a possibility of drowning. And if you want to use
Yeah.
that as, if you want to use that as a metaphor for this conversation, is the same thing. If you put swimming where there's a potential drowning will happen last during the day, yeah, it's a problem, right? So
That's a
voluntarily discomfort
great
build.
little,
Sorry, go ahead.
man, it's a great little metaphor. Put the swimming first.
Yeah, put the swimming first. Yeah, put the swimming first. So you don't drown. You put swimming first. Yeah. So going back to this point, voluntary discomfort builds involuntary strength, right? Another thing that we can do is what we call a reframe. We're reframing the signal, yeah, instead of saying something else. Like I'll give you an example. This feels bad, yeah. Say this is growth. Yes, it sounds like you're lying to yourself. Yeah. So we'll use NLP on that one, for example. Instead of saying this is hard, you go, oh man, this is not easy. Yeah. So you're actually saying the word easy as well. So you're giving yourself a chance to say the word easy, yet you're not lying because it's hard. That's a classic NLP technique.
Right.
Yeah. So language directs meaning. Yeah. Meaning directs behavior. Behavior can and probably will direct your destiny because that's what you keep on doing. That's your
Yeah.
behavior.
I mean, behavior is something you can control, right?
That's it. That's
So
it. You can get mad, but you don't have to, pick up the glass and throw it
you
on the
can get
wall.
mad for a minute, but you don't
Yeah,
stay with it,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. You
But,
don't need to throw the ketchup on the wall, you know?
yeah. And a last little technique here, like each week ask, where did I avoid discomfort? Where did I step into it? What did it teach me? Track it. Growth leaves patterns.
That's a good one.
So when you consistently lean into discomfort, your stress tolerance increases. Confidence becomes embodied, not imagined. You become less reactive. You build identity-based resilience. You start trusting yourself. And that trust changes everything.
And you no longer fear the storms. You become the kind of person who walks into them calmly. I personally like the sound of thunder, even though when I was a kid, I was scared of the thunder because it was so loud, right? And my mom told me that Jesus was bowling, like, bowling, like 10-pin bowling.
Oh, I've heard that one here.
So I was like, okay. And then eventually I just really admired it. And discomfort, like going to the gym, right? So when you're doing weights, what happens there? There's micro tears in the muscles. That's why it becomes bigger, right?
Right.
Yeah. How about this one? I think we were talking about this the other day. The astronauts that spends, a considerable amount of time in outer space in zero gravity. So there you go. Zero gravity, the epitome of no weight. Yeah?
Yeah.
They lose their body composition, right?
Yeah, they do. They typically come back with they've lost muscle definition. Their sight
Yeah,
generally suffers.
yeah. And they got brittle bones as well when they get home.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And that's an example of that. So your body, our body, even though science and especially a lot of the people in the personal development space have really knocked it, the body is designed as a hardware that is, based on struggle. Yeah.
right.
Our ancestors, I mean, we're omnivorous, which means we eat meat and vegetables, right? Which means we
Yeah,
came from the omnivorous scavengers. Yeah. So if you trace back the evolution of from apes to monkeys to basic lemurs and stuff, it was these guys because they were scavengers, and they were the most curious, right? So it was curiosity that helped us become human, and part of being uncomfortable, I think it's a treatment for being uncomfortable.
mm,
Yeah, in situations, be curious because you
right,
don't know what you're gonna get, really.
right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I thought that was worth sharing. That kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. So,
Yeah.
well, listen. Now you're on a roll.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was talking.
No, that's okay, right? That's good. Now you're on a bit of a roll. Let me throw it to you. All
Okay.
right. What do you want to say to finish off? Tie a ribbon, put a button on this episode.
Okay. So drink a cup of concrete and cement and harden the fuck up.
Harden the fuck up. And welcome. Thank you for joining the mindset.
Seriously, there is so much power in being resilient.
Yeah.
And I find the ones that are the perfectionist, the ones that really aim high, that's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But just mentally doing it and not doing it by behavior and actions and with your body and with your spirit, just mentally, I'm going to aim that high, right? They are the ones that are not resilient
Right.
because they have all these dreams, but when they wake up, they don't have a pathway to do so. And there's from that point of view, that's the quiet tragedy unfolding in the modern soul, in the modern human, in the 2025, 2026, 2027 life that we're going to be doing that. Hey, we haven't even started with AI. Man, that's going to be something about being avoidant of discomfort because you don't know what to say, so you're just gonna put it to AI. You don't want to outsource your learning. Yeah, I'm an AI guy. Yeah, but you don't want to outsource your learning. Anyway, we have mistaken ease for wisdom, really. Yeah, comfortable is great. I want my family to be secured and comfortable. Yeah, comfort for safety. Yeah, and safety for strength. Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's the mistake. Comfort for safety and safety for strength. Strength is not born in zero gravity. Yeah, it is not born in still water, even though some people are born in still water. But that's a baby, that's not strong. Yeah, water, uh, strength is born and it is carved by the current. You feel discomfort because you are expanding. It's like wearing. Remember those when you? I don't know. It hasn't happened to me for a while, Jono. But remember those days where when you were growing up as a kid, you know, your shoes were fine until all of a sudden they're tight. Yeah. Remember those days? So
Yeah.
similarly, it's like that, you know, they need to be really tight and uncomfortable until you go to your mom. Mom, my shoes, I don't think it's working out anymore. That means you grew, right? And that's the thing. You feel discomfort because you are expanding, you're growing. Because something inside you refuses to remain small. The anxiety before the leap, the tension before the truth, the ache before I guess, the breakthrough. These are not problems or curses. They are coordinates. Yeah, pain is a compass, and every time you turn away from it, you will walk further from yourself. Yeah, the body grows through resistance, and the mind grows through uncertainty. We actually need uncertainty. Yeah, and if you don't believe me, I like surprises. Yeah, but I also like to be certain at the same time, right? So you need both. You can't have one or the other only. The spirit grows through trial. If you avoid discomfort, you do not preserve yourself. You diminish yourself. Hey, Jana, have you heard of Plato's cave?
No.
So this is like Plato, so about, I think, 3,000 years ago. Yeah, before Jesus, 1,000 years before Jesus. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was before Jesus' time. And the story was there was a bunch of people in a cave, right? And using a candlelight as light, they're in chains, and they're looking at the wall of the cave. And someone is doing puppetry, like shadow puppetry, and they were believing the stories that they would see in the shadows of that program. Yeah. And then one day somebody walks in and goes, "Hey guys, you're in a cave," and unchained them. "Okay, you can go out to the cave now." And none of these guys believed them. It's like, what are you talking about? There's a world out there. Yeah, this cave that you're in is it's a make believe. It's not real. It's only real in your mind that this is the world. There's a bigger world outside, and that is that's a metaphor, or the story of the cave. And they were comfortable being uncomfortable, maybe, or they just got comfortable with where they are. Yeah. So beyond procrastination, beyond the fragile comfort of, predictable days, that version of yourself is waiting on the other side of the next difficult steps. So
Right.
yeah, big time. So when discomfort arrives, do not ask, how do I escape this? Ask instead, what is this shaping me into? Because the fire that scares you is the fire that may refine you. The storm that shakes you is the storm that strengthens you. And the pain that challenges you is pointing you forward in the path. So walk towards it, yeah? Not recklessly, of course not. Don't be silly. But walk towards it. Be deliberate about it. And one day you will look back at the moments you feared most and realize they were not obstacles, they were invitations. Pain is not your enemy. It is your direction. Follow it. When your body's in pain, listen to your body. Yeah? It's a direction. So you follow it, right? And you will not just grow, you will become that person that you always wanted to be.
And this is where growth begins. Now, this is the mindset channel where ancient wisdom meets the modern mindset. And if this resonated, share it with someone who needs to stop running from their growth. Until next time, lean into the discomfort.